If your life has felt reactive instead of intentional, if you've spent more time surviving the week than designing the year, if your biggest focus has been making it through the day instead of building tomorrow, this message may explain why. Because survival mode does not just affect your emotions, it affects your ability to plan. Welcome back to the channel where truth is spoken, awareness is honored, and reprogramming is the mission. Welcome to Family Focused, the Healing the Roots movement. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to be building for next year while others are just trying to survive until Friday? Same world, same 24 hours, completely different internal operating systems. Because survival mode doesn't just affect your emotions, it affects your ability to plan. And this may be one of the most overlooked reasons why so many people feel stuck. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack ambition, not because they don't want more, but because survival mode shortens your vision. When you've been conditioned by instability, by trauma, by poverty, by emotional neglect, by constant crisis, your brain learns to prioritize immediate safety over future success. Your mind stops asking, where do I want to be in 5 years? And starts asking, how do I make it through today? And that changes everything. Because thriving requires long-term thinking. But survival mode is built for short-term protection. This means you may struggle to save money. You may struggle to stay consistent. You may struggle to commit to big goals. You may struggle to trust long-term opportunities. You may self-sabotage future success for present comfort. Not because you're incapable, but because your nervous system has been trained to value immediate relief over future reward. This is why some people constantly live in reaction mode. Emergency to emergency, bill to bill, emotion to emotion, crisis to crisis. And eventually, survival mode becomes their personality. Here's the breakthrough. You cannot build a thriving life if your internal system is still programmed only to survive. And this is where awareness changes everything. For me personally, one of the tools I use to actively fight survival mode is something very simple, a life-sized yearly calendar. And I mean a full visual calendar where I can see the entire year. Every month, every major date, every goal, every responsibility. Why? Because survival mode narrows your vision. So I intentionally use tools that expand it. I keep this calendar somewhere I can see it every single day. Because when I see my year in front of me, I remember what's coming, I remember what matters, I remember what I'm building. I remember that life's bigger than today's emotions. I remember that my future deserves preparation. This tool helps me train my mind out of constant reaction and into intentional planning. And that matters. Because many people in survival mode are not failing because they lack discipline. They're failing because they've never been taught how to think beyond immediate pressure. Visual planning systems can be powerful because they help to retrain your brain to think ahead, prepare early, reduce chaos, build structure, create predictability. And predictability creates safety. Now, one thing I need to point out here is that to a survival mode individual, predictability may often feel boring and feel like you're not making progress, you're not doing anything. And that again will be because you are not used to being safe. Because predictability automatically means safety. Safety allows planning. Planning creates progress. Progress builds confidence, and confidence helps move you from survival mode into thriving. This is why stabilization is so important. Before massive success, before manifestation, before thriving, you often need stability. A regulated nervous system, clear routines, supportive environments, practical systems, future visibility. You need to create conditions where your brain believes it is safe to build. Because if your mind still believes danger is constant, you will keep interrupting your own future. This is also why some people can have talent, intelligence, and opportunity and still struggle to move forward. Because survival mode is not an intelligence problem, it is an internal systems problem. And systems can be rebuilt. That means your current patterns are not permanent. Your past does not have to dictate your future. Your nervous system can be retrained. Your planning capacity can grow. Your life can expand. But first, you must recognize your survival mode has been shrinking your vision. Ask yourself, am I only planning for emergencies? Am I constantly reacting? Do I struggle to think long term? Do I avoid future planning because it feels overwhelming? Do I keep living as though life is happening to me instead of through me? Because awareness is where your power returns. As Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is where our power to choose our response. And in that choice, you begin to reprogram. You stop living exclusively from fear. You stop organizing your life around crisis. You stop expecting instability as your normal. You begin building intentionally. This is how thriving begins. Not overnight, not magically, but systematically. One new tool, one new mindset, one new routine, one expanded vision at a time. So if you've been feeling stuck, maybe the question is not, what's wrong with me? Maybe the real question is, has survival mode been limiting how far I can see? Because once you expand your vision, you expand your life. If this message hit home, it's not because you are broken, it's because you are waking up. And reprogramming begins where awareness starts. If this helped you, like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep healing, one truth at a time. Healing the nation, one child at a time. And if you're ready to go deeper, my book recommendation for today is The Body Keeps the Score by Basil van der Kolk. And before I go, I'd like to say hello to my now 473 subscribers. And thank you to those of you who continue to engage with my content. See you on the next video.